Tomorrow is a big day on Capitol Hill. A new Congress begins and divided government returns, one half of which is already in complete and utter chaos. It will also be the make or break moment for Kevin McCarthy's desperate fight to lead the Republicans. If he gets elected Speaker, how he gets elected Speaker will be telling. The last time a hopeful Speaker failed to get enough support on the first ballot was in the year 1923, exactly 100 years ago. And it's not unlikely to happen tomorrow. At least 9 members are saying right now that McCarthy still hasn't done enough to earn their support, far more than the 4 he can afford to lose in the vote. It comes even after he made his biggest concession yet to their demands for a chaotic, alternate reality kind of leadership situation. That's in addition to the 5 Never Kevin members who would rather vote for an election denier and accused insurrectionist than simply hand McCarthy the Speaker role. Listen.
No, I won't be voting for Kevin McCarthy tomorrow. He's part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. I suspect 10 to 15 members will vote against him on the first ballot tomorrow that will vote for Andy Biggs.
Joining our coverage, Anna Palmer. She has covered Congress and its leadership for more than 15 years and knows exactly what's going on today. She's the founder and CEO of Punchbowl News. And Charlie Sykes has also been awash in all of this and all the players. He's now the editor-at-large of the Bulwark. Both are MSNBC contributors. So, Anna, first, tell us what's going on. Did we get that right?
Yeah, it is a very crazy situation where we have really been watching Kevin McCarthy over the past couple of weeks over this break do everything he can to try to appease those conservative members of his conference to try to get on board with his speakership. So far, we are hearing that is not it's not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. There's still that crowd of those handful of 5, but it's even growing in terms of potential members who are not going to support him. He says he's feeling good about it. They're going to continue to have maybe say in for multiple ballots, but it's truly unprecedented here. And the thing that's been pretty interesting to watch is how many concessions McCarthy has made. He's made concessions and given up a lot of things that he said were kind of deal breakers for him, things that he wasn't going to do when it came to the motion to vacate the chair, for example. He's now changed that threshold to say, okay, it's not just a leadership person, but it's any 5 members who want to do it. I'm making concessions around who can even be part of some of these big committees so that there would be more conservatives on these committees. It's unclear what, if anything, at this point he can do to secure the votes to actually appease these members of his conference.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, other than a kidney or a lung, it's not clear there's anything left to give away. I mean, let me read some of what Anna's talking about. Punchbowl reported McCarthy has reversed direction on his vow that he never changed the motion to vacate, the procedure under which a speaker can be removed. He's also sort of flirting publicly now with the kinds of questions for more from Matt Gaetz, negotiating in public, which is never a sign of strength. And if you think about the ultimately ill-fated speakerships of Boehner and Ryan, he would be weaker with a wackier caucus. This seems like an ill-fated cruise.
No, it's humiliation all the way down. And so what he's doing is he's trying to shrink himself into power, which is a very, very interesting strategy. Look, Kevin McCarthy is a hollow man and a weak political leader. And what's happening now is that members of his conference are testing to see exactly how hollow and weak he is. How far can they push him? What kinds of concessions will he be willing to make? How far will he go to weaken himself in order to get this speakership? But what's also on display, I think pretty obviously, is how dysfunctional this new majority is and how the demands will be to turn the Republican-led House into a dysfunctional body because, some of the objections are personal. Obviously, a lot of them are ideological. But at bottom, it appears to be a demand that Kevin McCarthy not be tempted to actually engage in the act of governance, of making bipartisan compromises. So we are about to go in a period of about 24 hours from one of history's most powerful speakers to one of the most feckless speakers. And it will be interesting to see if he is able to survive how long he's able to hold on. I mean, you already have people comparing him to that head of lettuce that was in competition with the last prime minister of Britain. Who's going to last longer, the head of lettuce or the prime minister? Who's going to last longer, the head of lettuce or Kevin McCarthy, if he should end up as speaker?
Anna, it's so interesting because on planet Earth, it feels like we've covered the most humiliating phase of Kevin McCarthy's career, the picking out the Starburst flavors that Trump liked, the saying one thing on all the calls with all the members about how the 25th Amendment was too slow, Trump needed to go faster than that, and then being the human resuscitation for Trump. But it's clear that the most humiliating part of Kevin McCarthy's career is happening right now, today and tomorrow. What are the likely scenarios for the next 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, what's really stunning here is the fact that there's been no one in this Republican conference that has done more to get Republicans in this majority position. He raised tons and tons of money over this last election. He visited all of the districts. I mean, he was out there on the stump, living on an airplane, trying to get Republicans in the majority. And at this point, it's unclear if anything could be enough. So the question then kind of comes to, one, does he stay in? Does he have some embarrassing, 2 or 3 votes and is able to kind of do some wheeling and dealing on the House floor tomorrow? Or does he at some point have to say, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy. And then that really, really scrambles things, because the reason why these conservatives are having such a hard time with this issue is because there isn't anybody else running who's a credible candidate against Kevin McCarthy. So that then all of a sudden you look down the line. Is it going to be a Steve Scalise, for example, Elise Stefanik? What happens with other Republicans, and are they going to be able to find somebody within even that day, if he's unsuccessful, to actually run for the leadership position?
Charlie,
yes,
the red wave didn't happen because voters rejected the exact ideologies of the people that Kevin McCarthy is empowering. What is sort of the larger meta political peril of what Kevin McCarthy is doing right now?
Well, he's going to let people know what Republican governance looks like in 2023. Look, think about an alternative reality in which Republicans are in a very, very good mood, and this is a day of celebration for them, as opposed to a day in which the knives are going to be out. And I think that for the next 2 years, this is going to be on display, because these divisions aren't going away. I mean, here is, his speakership will rest on the support of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and George Santos. These now become the faces of the Republican majority, and he will be too weak to defy any of them. Look, what you're seeing is a very real MAGA crack up when you start to see Marjorie Taylor Greene fighting with Lauren Boebert. But the American people are going to be sitting back, and swing voters are going to be going, who are these guys? What is this clown car that is just, driven into Washington, D.C.? And, obviously Kevin McCarthy has wanted this job for a very, very long time. And you have to wonder whether there's part of him deep down inside thinking, is this worth it? I think probably not, because he is such a hollow man. And by the way, I mean, adding to the layers of self-humiliation that he may be subjected to over the next 24, 48 hours or the next 2 years is the fact that my understanding is he's already moved into the speaker's office. His stuff's already there. So if things go badly for him, he's going to have to move his stuff out. So you might have tomorrow end with Kevin McCarthy walking out of the speaker's office with all of his personal artifacts in a cardboard box. I mean, that's where this may lead on a day that should have been the celebration of the red wave. So, it's an interesting strategy to self-humiliate your way into power. It does not appear to be playing out well for him.